Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. It's Monday night and welcome to our Team Up Monday night. Let's just call it family reunion. Let me see. I've seen so many of you. Oh, look at all these pretty faces. So thank you for being here tonight. This is going to be an amazing call. And before we introduce our special guest speaker tonight, I want to just kind of brag on you. I want to brag and celebrate and congratulate you because as a team under the Team Up umbrella, we brought on board 490 new AROs. The tide is shifting. That is a big deal, guys. 17 new partners
Yay.
on board in the month of May. 17. As of tonight, 5 to 6 of them hit Partner Plus this month. So things are turning. The tide is turning. And so I just want to congratulate every one of you because it takes a lot of hands, a lot of stories, a lot of reach out, a lot of getting uncomfortable to make that happen. So thanks so much. And we'll do a deeper dive into that in the month of June. All right, guys. So tonight, one of my favorite people is joining us. That would be David Beavers. And I didn't even ask David for a bio because I just wanted to talk to you about what David means to me. So, David's been with Juice Plus for 30 plus years, presidential marketing director plus. He's a member of the founders, which is like the pinnacle of partners who share and have brought so much to the table. So, all that is going on with David. But, to me personally, when I became an affiliate 30 years ago, because I had my anniversary last week, David started reaching down, started calling me, and right away, he became such a valuable mentor for me and friend. And something that David always represented to me, and I don't know if you know this, David, but I always felt seen, I always felt heard, and I always felt safe.
No, thanks.
And that continues today. And so today, David's going to share with us something about tasking. And so I've got my pen. So take it away, David. I'm so pleased to have you tonight.
Yeah. Let me set this up so I can see, get off the speaker view and see the folks here. Golly, this is awesome. I know just about everybody. I see Abby. I don't know. I see Tanya. Let's see Scott. Hey, Scott. Okay, some no folks. Okay, well, y'all have to break you in slowly here. Okay. And there's Jerry. Jerry is my comeback girl NMD of the year. But you may lose your trophy to the Hagemans. Not sure about that. Right now you're holding the trophy as the comeback kid. Just really proud of you, Jerry, and the way you've rebuilt your business. And boy, I know all about what it means to start all over. I really know about that. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me. This is I work with another group, and I do a typical talk called Conversation with David. And so every time I give a talk now, that's what you want to call it. I just call it a conversation. I'm kind of over the big power talks. Okay. Maybe it comes with age. Maybe it comes with, I've been there, done that, but I just love sharing a few thoughts with people. And if we have time, we'll have a little time to chat. We'll see how that goes. The title tonight is The Task Within the Task. And Kathy Slun had the foresight to ask me when I gave her that title. She said, could you tell us a little bit more about this? It is a little obscure. So I came up with a little explanation, and it reads like this. Think about it. We're all asked to grow up and be responsible people, to be honest, to pay our bills, to raise a family, cultivate relationships, make a living, and for those of us on this call, to build a business. But within that task and that whole piece there, that whole piece of responsibility, that whole area of what I would call, you put all that in kind of the area of personal growth, personal development. growing up, mastery, goal setting. That's where I would put all that. Within that task, which is a huge blessing, lies the task, which is the task of nurturing and paying attention to what I call the hidden and mysterious depths of one's own life. That's the task within the task. The task within the task looks at this. It's the task. The first part is like, it seems like the non-essentials are always imposing themselves upon us and we're responding to them. But the essentials of life are not imposing themselves. We have to choose to step into those essentials every day. The task of nurturing and paying attention to ourselves. I want to begin by telling you about a story several months ago. I drove to Memphis. Sally was a little under the weather, so I went by myself, and it was for my first time to really meet Travis Garza, and it was a retreat for the founders. I think, I can't remember if it was before Christmas or after Christmas, but it's 2 days in Memphis, and it was just wonderful. And we're just in great shape with Travis. That's all I'll say about that. But that's my take on his leadership and his heart. And one of the things that I want to tell you about what he did with us as we met there, and I was sitting there in the midst of all these very timid people, the founders, very low-key people. He wanted to get to know us a little better. So he gave out a little survey of questions, where were you born? How many siblings? Where'd you go to school? All those other things. And then he would read back some of them so that people could say, he would say, who do you think this is? It was a real great attempt on his part to kind of get to know us. But I want to share with you 2 of the questions on that little survey, and I am going to answer them for you tonight. And the first one is, one of the questions that I thought was interesting was, share one thing most people don't know about you. So I'm going to answer that question for you tonight. And I'm going to answer it by telling you about, asking you if you've ever seen the movie 4 Weddings and a Funeral. I think most of you seen that. Hugh Grant, Andy McDowell, great movie. Well, I've been threatening to give a talk on 4 Weddings and a Funeral, because that's what I did in a short period of years. I did 4 weddings and a funeral. And what made it unique, no one knows about this, I may have shared it with some of you, I don't know, is that the 4 weddings were the weddings of 4 of my children, 3 of my stepchildren, and 1 of my daughters. Just one of the most fun things I've ever done, to officiate and craft the vows and everything for the 4 weddings. Real special. And this is, this is years after I've been out of the professional ministry, but it, still know how to ride a bicycle, right? Okay. The funeral, as it turns out, again, another privilege. I was asked by Sally, my wife, her ex-husband, as he was suffering from terminal cancer, he asked me to do his service. So I actually performed and officiated the funeral of my wife's former husband, who happened to be someone I knew years before. And somehow it was a great healing moment. But I think, if you want to know something about me you never knew before, I think that's pretty significant to kind of see what's going on. As it turns out, I'm often asked, it's interesting, since I've been with Juice Plus, I've been asked to do several funerals over the years, and of people, families, and so forth. So that's kind of in my background. The other question was this. Name one thing you are passionate about. That's what Travis asked. Didn't say name the one thing or the main thing you're passionate. Just say name one thing. So I'm passionate about a lot of things, but this one I'm really passionate about. And this is the way I'll put it. The thing I'm passionate about is encouraging and inviting people to cultivate within themselves a culture, climate to cultivate a culture of healing self-acceptance toward themselves and others, primarily toward themselves. I'll repeat it. Encouraging and inviting people to cultivate or to develop a culture of healing, of self-acceptance, healing self-acceptance of themselves and others. Now, this is not new to most of you. You know me very well. And obviously, sometimes we tend to teach what we need to be learning, and I've learned a lot in this area, but I'm also teaching it or sharing it from the angle of, this has changed my life. And to me, it's kind of the last frontier of our personal growth, is getting to that place where we figure that piece out. And I can only speak from my experience. It's different for everybody here. It's my relationship with God has informed this, my work in different areas of my life, or a lot of reading, a lot of work. But this, I'm just speaking from my experience, and that's what I'm doing here. But I feel like I'm doing it because of where I am in my life and what I, had some health challenges over the last few years, and getting older, 77 years old now. I feel freer about this. I feel bold. Feel like I can speak about these things, not presumptively, but boldly and more deliberately than ever. I feel real free to do that. And I thank you for being such open and gracious and teachable people that allow me to just share my experience. So what I'm trying to do tonight is I'm trying to come up with the words to express really what can't be grasped in words alone. I'm hoping that these words will resonate with you. I hope they'll make sense. It might be that if someone asks you what David talked about on Team Up, you might say, if my life depended on it, I couldn't tell you what he said, but I got it. Okay. That's my hope. So I don't know if you're taking, I don't recommend taking notes because I don't know if I have any content tonight. I'm just kind of talking with you. But I want to give you some words. I think what I really want to do is give you some words that might give you permission. I know a lot of you. I know what good people you are. And yet I know that I need to give you permission again. I've done it before, but I'm going to do it again. Give you permission to reclaim and affirm and champion your own desire to rest in an unshakable acceptance and intimacy with yourself and others, that relationship with yourself. So let me just share with you a little reflection, maybe a meditation here about that, and then we'll have a chat if there's time. This time is flying here. One of my favorite verses in the Bible. By the way, all of you know me well enough to know that there's no evangelizing going on here. I'm just speaking from my own experience. And you can say what I'm saying in 1,000 other different ways. But I'm kind of, my life has been sort of Jesus shaped, if you would, in terms of his life and legacy and impact upon my life and others. So that's where I'm coming from. And so hope you'll be with me on that level. Psalm 131, there's a short little verse. Psalm 131, verse 2 says this: I have calmed and quieted myself. I am like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child, I am content. And just before I got on here with you, I looked the same verse up in a different translation. This is called The Message. I'm just going to read it. It's real short. It said, I've cultivated a quiet heart. Like a baby content in its mother's arms, my soul is a baby content. It's good. I like that. Blaise Pascal, who he lived 400 years ago. He's kind of a French philosopher and theologian. He's the one who said, "Thou hast made us for yourself, O God, and our hearts are restless until we find our rest in thee." He also said this. He said, all the miseries of the human person come from the fact that no one can sit still for 1 hour. All the miseries of the human person come from the fact that no one can sit still for an hour. I try to do that every day, not an hour, 20 minutes. And it ain't easy. I'm not going to get into that right now, but the it's hard. It's hard to do that because there's a restlessness, you know. But I'm inviting you into that place. Now, what makes this verse that I just shared with you, I've calmed and quieted myself, I'm like a weaned child. What makes this interesting is the person is who said it. Who said it? And there's good indication that the person who said this 1,000 years ago, well, 1,000 years before Christ, actually, was King David, who, as you know, was quite a character and quite a powerful person. And but in this verse, he was revealing his own vulnerable side. He's saying, beneath this facade of self-sufficiency and charm and power and the ability to intimidate, beneath that lies buried a hungry and open heart that yearns for God's own heart. And this longing that I alluded to in the title, you know, about this nurturing this hidden and mysterious place within you. This deep longing arises in an undisturbed space within you. It's a space that is can't be trashed. You can't trash it. You can't trash it. No one else can trash it. It's inviolable. It's that precious part of you that is untrashable, that is loved. It's intimately loved and beloved. Okay. And so that's what's so powerful about that verse is this guy, this person, you know, think about the powerful people we know in our world, in our lives, and how rare to find that, how hard it is to come to be that kind of vulnerable person. It's really, really rare, but that's where I'm inviting us to go. Now, most of you who are on this call probably remember a few years ago, I hosted an event called Prep School for Q School, P for Q. Loved it. One of my most favorite things I've done in 36 years with the company. Just a precious time. And you remember, those of you who went, I asked you before you came, probably 100 of you at one of them, at this one in particular, I asked each one of you to email me a picture of yourself. I think they were almost all women, but there were a few men, perhaps. An email picture of yourself as a young child. 4, 5, 6, 7. It was just so much fun. And as these pictures started arriving in my emails, it was just it kind of unraveled me. I felt an openness and a love for these people I'd never experienced. I felt, without talking to them, just looking at the picture and just sort of meditating those pictures, I feel like I came to know them in a deeper way, seeing them, imagining them in my mind as playing as little children, curious, spontaneous, and teachable. And it occurred to me as I looked at them that they were just like me. But then and now, just like me, then and now, a kid hoping he was loved and safe and accepted. Okay, and that's true. So what I want to say about this, and I'm going to wrap this up and give you a chance to sort of respond to me, because this is a daunting subject, but here's what I want to say about this thing. Well, first of all, I want to say this is the task of the family. This is the task of churches, schools, relationships, is to foster this climate that I'm talking about, where a child not only feels loved, but also learns how to forgive, accept, and love herself. I'm saying this because this doesn't happen for most of us. It doesn't happen in most of families, schools. I sat on the board of a private Christian school, and we talked about this a lot, kind of climate we want to cultivate here. Self-love must be learned, but it can't be forced and taught in a sort of academic way, reading a book. Self-forgiveness, this is important. Self-forgiveness is more caught than taught. And I'm being honest with you when I say that most of us are strangers to this kind of interior, tender-hearted self-compassion. And that's why I tell you, this is where I struggled as a parent, because I didn't know that. I didn't understand that myself, and I was not able to pass it on. You cannot impart what you do not possess. And so that's where I struggled as a parent, and is because I didn't have it. I didn't know how to model it as well, that ability. So here's my closer here. Here's what I want to leave you with. It's not how to get more customers, how to qualify your business. But I think this impacts the way you do those things, how you talk to yourself. I believe that and my sense is this, is apart from an ongoing daily experience of unconditional love and acceptance toward ourselves as adult children, we're going to stay on a path where we're always burdened with a lot to protect, a lot to hide, too much to defend, too much to pretend, too much worthiness left to prove to ourselves and others, unless we kind of drop into that place. So Terry said we could go for 8 if we wanted to, but let me just do this with you while let's just, I'm just going to stop here and let's chat. If something has resonated with you, or you have a thought or a question or something you'd like to add, I want you to do that. So there you are.
David,
Unmute yourself, raise your hand, and I'll acknowledge the best I can.
David,
Yeah.
this is the picture that I sent you for P for Q. And
Yeah.
she's
I
still,
remember.
she sits on my mirror. And
Yeah.
every single day I look at her and I say, I love you. I love you so much.
No,
So I
precious.
still do that. So thank you. There she is. That's my
There
first
she is.
that's my first Holy Communion.
That's great. Thank you, Terry. Beautiful. I see a hand. Is that Amelia? Yeah.
It is.
Unmute yourself.
You just said something. You said something is caught, not. I need that
Taught.
back. Something is taught, not caught, or
I
caught,
said,
not
well,
taught.
this whole thing of self-forgiveness, self-love, self-acceptance, self-compassion is modeled and it's mirrored with you. And this is, yeah. And so if without that mirroring, where you feel safe in that relationship, the most, some of the best moments of my life are times when been with a person who's really present and safe. And when I've been with that person enough, over time, I learn how to be with myself the way that person has been with me. So that's what I mean. It's caught.
Got it.
You don't get it from going to a seminar.
Right.
You know, you get the
But when you
idea and it
have
sounds
to.
great. Like I may be saying some things like tonight that really make sense to you, but it's hard to internalize it and get it in your soul.
No,
That's
it just
what's
explained. It just made something very crystal clear. So thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anything that resonated with you or want to say?
Go ahead.
There's a,
K20V. I don't know what your name is, but if you'd like to, there you go. You're unmuted. Welcome.
I don't see everybody on the screen, so it's
I'm
because
Marion,
there's more than one page.
and
Who is it?
my name is Marion, and I'm just thankful that you're talking about self-forgiveness, because I found that when someone has said something to you or about you that is not really who you are, but it goes deep and hurts. You
Mhm.
you really have to forgive yourself, forgive the other person as well as forgiving yourself in order to move on with God's love flowing through you. Because
Okay.
if you don't forgive yourself, that keeps cropping up, and it it makes it almost impossible to move forward as a person and let God's love flow to others.
What was your
So
first name again, Mary? What was your
Marion,
first name again? Mary. Yeah.
Marion,
Sounds like you've had some experience there, Miriam. Sounds like you've been
a
down
little.
that road a little bit. That's good. Yeah, I think you're right. I really do. I really do. Anybody else? Anybody? Thank you.
Jen and Henry have their hand up.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey David, you're brilliant as always.
Oh,
Still,
thanks.
still love being head of your fan club.
Uh,
I am really taken at age 70 now. You still ahead of me here. It's just fascinating how as you get older, you're you obviously have more perspective, but I think it's the slowing down that gives you the opportunity to look back and to I still have a hard time sitting down for 20 minutes. I probably achieve that here and there. I work on meditation. Um, but it's really been in this last year that I have gotten to a place where I can feel comfortable with myself and can see myself in all those different roles that I was in all through my life, from parenting to being, child of my parents.
Sure.
And I think it's just imperative that we get to that place. And I'd like to say I think Luminate is making that easier. I felt more present when I first took it, and I think it's giving
good.
me the opportunity to sort of quiet the mind and just really spend time there in myself. And because of that, I think I've been able to share more, way more.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just learning how to be present with yourself and not, it makes you a better listener. And, you sort of a container where you hear people
Right.
and you sort of hold their words until they're done, and then you can respond. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
This we can't get into it tonight, but maybe down the road, this whole arena of adult child issues, really wonderful thing to pursue. A lot of important things there. Anybody else? Thanks, Henry. I love you guys so much. 30, I don't know, not 50 years now, something. I'm not sure. Whatever.
David, I'll chime in
Patty.
really quick.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Abby.
Hi. I guess I'm tied with Henry for #1 in the David fan club. So I just wanted to say thank you for always instilling wisdom in us. I think that is one thing about our community that is such a gift and so different than any other community that I've ever been a part of, to be able to be guided and mentored by people that are like-minded and wise and that have paved the way. And so, Terry shared about how hard everybody's been working, and I think that's incredible, but there is such value too in slowing down to listen and digest and take in these lessons that not only make us, better businessmen and women, but better individuals in the world and all those things. So thank you for your gift to all of us tonight.
My take on my response to that is that, I have permission to let y'all sort of exhale today. It's the end of the month, it's the last day. So who cares? Forget customers, just sort of exhale. But it's important. We really do work hard. And the fact that we are working around a concept called performance bonus, it's easy to think, to identify ourselves as what we perform, and, acquisitions and achievements and approval and those things. And I'm not saying those are wrong. I'm just simply saying those are the non-essentials that impose on us. And we kind of get, they're like birds picking up pieces of silver and putting their nest, we like the shiny objects. The things that really impact us, though, we have to sort of wait on them and receive them. Yeah. Okay. I see a hand. I sound like Billy Graham. I see that hand.
That's the
Kimberly, unmute yourself.
Hey,
Kimberly?
David, hey, David, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. It is so great to hear from you. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate that verse because I feel like I do not rest enough. And that scripture is just telling me, Kim, it's okay to rest. Because when you rest, that's when a lot of times you get insight. So
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm excited. So I just want to say thank you. And I was meant to be here. I appreciate what you
Right.
gave us.
Let me just respond to you, Kimberly, because that verse is so packed. I mean, like, if you read it, the one I gave was like a weaned child. For those of you, no personal experience, but my first wife and Sally both nursed their children. Some of you nurse children, but there's a difference between a nursing child and a weaned child. A child that's not weaned is not content. They're screaming. They're trying. They want some action, right? But a weaned child is just content. I mean, I've experienced that with my own children and grandchildren. They just to rest in your arms. I encourage you, Kimberly. Develop a plan this week to get some rest.
Yes, I am going to do that. Thank you so
Good.
much.
Yeah, Jerry.
Hey,
Take
David,
Jerry and maybe one more.
it's always so great to hear from you. It's such a treat.
Huh.
I want to tell you, I really appreciated the insight that you shared with us tonight. We have a tendency to really beat ourselves up, and we didn't use the right words. We got one too many no's. We get to feel, when we feel frustrated and disappointed, our prospects, our customers, and our families feel that frustration, and it pushes people away. So I want to know that I'm okay. The book, I'm okay, you're okay. It's okay. Whatever happened today is okay. And to be okay with it and just rest in it and accept and trust that it's all a part of the process. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to affirm us tonight and share with us.
I love doing it. I mean, I owe you all so much. I just, the thing is, 36 years into this thing, and I'm getting to do exactly what I want to do. I mean, it's like, I get paid to talk to y'all like this. I mean, think about this is what I've wanted to do. This is why I love this vehicle, apart from just all the things I'm talking to you about tonight, but the vehicle of this business has given me the liberty and the freedom to just, pursue the longings of my heart over the years. More now than ever, more than now. I really, really do. Is that it? We're going to wrap it up. Is this a wrap?
I think.
Let me close with a quote. Okay. Then this will be our our concluding remarks. This is a quote from Ian Cron in his book. He's the Enneagram expert. It's called The Road Back to You. And he says, God remembers and knows who we are, the person he knit together in our mother's womb. He looks at us with the same soft gaze that the adoring mother beholds her sleeping infant. If we could look at ourselves with that same quality of affection, how much healing would take place in our lives. Y'all have a great night. Thank you, Terry. See you. I'm going to show up about once a quarter, okay?
All right, that's the deal, David. Guys,
Thank
All
you
right.
so
Thank you-
much,
thank
David.
you so much,
Thank you
David.
guys.
Love
Thank
you
you,
all.
Love you,
David.
David.
Thank
Peace and
Thank you,
blessings, guys.
David.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
David. Thank you.
Night.